We're back.
We're back in studio, MJ.
What happened to our studio, though? I see you had, clutter all over our studio.
It was messy. You know what? Because I'm doing this thing right now in my house where I concentrate on getting one room, eliminating what I don't need, cleaning it thoroughly. Right. So I have done my master bathroom. It is clean in there right now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I have to move on. It's hard to do that when you also work, a day job too.
You know how radio hosts, they'll come in the morning and they'll come in and they'll turn on the mics and it'll be like, what happened to the sound? I didn't change anything. I don't think I've changed anything over the last 6 weeks. And I cannot get the system to work tonight.
You do this every week. It's okay.
Yeah. That's why we need to hire a producer or something like that.
We need to hire somebody that knows something about that soundboard.
Now, if we were making money at this, it would be a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so we got Kat here on the podcast this week.
Hello.
Hi.
A new guest.
Yes.
Yay.
Which I never thought she would be on because she was really too shy before to come on and say anything on mic. But,
Oh, it's fun. Just you'll ignore all this stuff once you warm up because we were that at first too, and now we're just we say whatever the hell we want.
Plus
so please say whatever you want to.
Plus the three of us are the only ones listening to this, anyways.
Right? Yeah.
I just feel like everyone's
and
listening.
Sydney has told us that she's our faithful listener.
And I think we still have
shout out.
I still think we have that hate listener up in Portland.
Hate listener?
Yeah. Yeah, because we have somebody from Portland that listens to every episode.
Hey, shout out to her.
Yeah, hey.
Shout out to her too.
Right. Hopefully she's doing good.
Our show is literally called Reality Redemption. She deserves redemption too. Yeah. So shout out to you.
And maybe we're redeeming ourselves.
Much love to you.
Although I think we're still blocked on all the social media.
But she's a hater.
I'm not even on social media anymore. I mean, I know I don't go on Facebook. I quit Facebook when that whistleblower came out because I was like, you know what? I'm getting sucked into this though. I was starting to really not like people based off of their views. And I'm like, so I backed off, I'm like, you know what? It is very hard for people to go against what they've always been taught and to grow and to not say such hateful things on. I didn't say hateful things to people, but I would respond to the hate where I would respond to the hate probably a little. I remember being mean to this one girl because she was doing the whole bull crap about the transgender in the bathroom situation, and I was just they just want to piss, but I found myself I'm like, God, what a disgusting person you are. And it's it is a disgusting way to think of things, but now that I look at it, I'm like, well, I'm sure she has some good qualities. She's probably not completely disgusting in everything in her life, but she was probably raised a different way than I was. And it's hard to go against everything you've ever been taught,
It's with strangers, I use the block button a lot if they're just draining my energy too much. And then,
I don't even engage anymore.
Yeah, it's not worth the time usually.
I used to.
I know.
It's you even I think that's kind of the thing that is difficult is figuring out who's worth the time, because I know you can get through to some people because everyone has had something that they've changed their mind on at some point, and it usually is a slow shift over time. But it's you can plant the seed of thought, but you're not going to get the instant gratification of those people automatically changing their minds. And then some people just aren't even worth engaging.
Mm-hmm.
I think trying to discern between those, who's worth the effort and who's not is difficult.
Exactly. I just didn't want to not like people because of what I read from them through social media because I'm like, I know that they're more than that because I'm more than that. I'm more than just what I put out on Facebook or what I did. And I was just like, and it sucks a lot of my time. It really is time suck. I mean, it really is. To quote Bill Maher, it's
use it with intention, but if you don't use it with intention, then it will just drain too much of your time.
Exactly.
Energy.
Exactly.
Boundaries.
Exactly.
Speaking of energy, did you see Dennis Rodman wants to go to Russia now to free Brittany Griner, and he got permission to do it?
No way.
Biden told him not to do it, but he's going over to Russia.
Dennis Rodman's one of my birthday twins. He played on the Chicago Bulls. He would always bleach his hair blonde and sometimes dye it green and all different colors, and he'd have tons of tattoos before the other players did. Yeah, I mean, this was back
he was married to Carmen Electra.
He would dress in drag a lot though too. Yeah. Remember when he dressed in the wedding dress and the veil and everything?
I hope he's smart enough not to bring any CBD gummies over there like Brittany did.
I know. There's also another person who is facing a 14-year prison sentence, and I'm like, why don't they try to do the same deal for that person? Because it's for the same thing. The guy had brought over cannabis oil because he actually had a prescription here in the United States because it was for something to do with his back. He had severe back pain, but you can't take it to another country.
Yeah, I mean, probably just wouldn't chance it at all with countries like that are looking for any reason to take it.
And just why would you want to go to Russia right now?
Well, it's because they pay her a lot of money to play there during the off season.
Yeah.
Because the WNBA doesn't earn as enough as the NBA and all that stuff.
Right.
But it's a women's league and they don't earn as much money because they don't have a TV contract.
Because they don't have the fan base either. I mean... We should start going to WNBA games then. I mean, I feel bad. It's
where is all the free Britney signs now, though? Remember last summer? Britney Spears, free Britney?
Isn't she free now or no?
Now you have someone in a Russian prison.
I think there's still... Oh, you mean Britney Spears?
Yeah.
Free, yeah. Britney Spears is free. I think she's pregnant, right?
No, she lost the...
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. That was the last I heard on her, was she was happy and pregnant
and now there's all this stuff with Kevin Federline again, and because he's keeping the kids away from her, or the kids don't want to see her because she hasn't seen them in years. And this is why we don't do celebrity podcasts.
Aren't her kids adults yet? It seems it's been forever, so can't they just...
I think they're 18.
Then why does he need to get involved?
I don't know.
It's they're adults. If they don't want to see their mom, then, I mean, that sucks, but...
Although Brittany did clap back pretty good on him, and her camp said to him, he goes, well, yeah, you talk a lot for someone that's been... mooching off Britney Spears' money for the last 18 years. That's what I would say. I'd be like, what do you have to say in this anyways? If the kids are grown, you should have no comment towards me. We're not... that's crappy. And in other entertainment news, have you watched the new Beavis and Butthead?
Oh, it's out now?
Of course.
Oh, it's great.
Of course.
Yeah.
I was one of the biggest Beavis and Butthead fans back in high school.
Did you watch the latest one with the raccoons?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen that one. When do they come out? What day?
I think Wednesdays or Thursdays.
Oh, then I don't think I've seen last one yet. I'm going to have to watch it.
But for the people who haven't watched it yet, instead of just watching music videos in between the little shorts, they watch TikTok videos.
I saw the one where the girl was getting into college. That one was hilarious. And they're all
What is
The
it?
stuff I'm
on?
like, this is almost better than them watching the music videos and critiquing them.
Is it on
It's like
Netflix or
Paramount
something?
Plus.
Oh, I don't have that.
Yeah. These damn streaming services.
I know. Why can't they?
Too
Why
many.
can't you just get one and then you have access to everything? It's such bull crap.
Yeah, the worst is South Park because they'll do half of them on HBO and half of them on Paramount Plus. You have to flop back and forth.
I know. I'm starting to get to where it's like, Matt and Trey, are you guys just fucking with your fans? I mean, like, will you make us go here? Then you got to go here. Because then they get pissed off at this service, so then they move to a different service.
Well,
and I'm like,
wasn't it ironic the one that they did about the water? But they called it the streaming
the
wars.
streaming, yeah,
and
and
the water was a metaphor for the streaming services.
right. They're making fun of it, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah, I know.
But this isn't what we came here to talk about.
Right.
So
Let's get to the point.
The entertainment section is done. Now the business at hand. So, Kat, before you kind of just kept your political opinions to yourself, you didn't really engage. You weren't really out there as, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
Someone on the left or it. Outspoken?
Outspoken.
Oh, I didn't know if you were already going into the political part of it yet.
Yeah. Easy.
So
This isn't
outspoken.
scripted. You know, hey, back in the studio, I have to talk for all day too, so I'm thrown off my game. Activist, if that was the word I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
An activist.
Yeah, you were
okay.
never really an activist. But, and I'll let you talk about this part, after the decision to overturn Roe versus Wade, you felt like you needed to have your voice out there.
It's like I've always felt like I have a lot to say, but just been like afraid to say anything, and I watch other people, but and I think I had it in my head that like I don't know every aspect of a subject, so who am I the authority to speak on it? But then it's like I kind of had this revelation that everyone's sort of just figuring it out as we go, as they go. So it's like, well, I'm, passionate about, to me, this is more of a human rights issue, not political. Like, I like to try to emphasize that it's not a partisan issue, but that's what I just kind of threw myself into it by speaking at a board of supervisors meeting, and I've just been kind of trying to pick up the slack on that and keep going with it, because I see there's a lot of little groups around that were doing like the marches and the rallies and stuff, but they were like sporadic little groups, and I kind of wanted to have a goal of like unifying them all to have a stronger voice, so we can all be together and like coordinate under other larger groups, kind of. So I went ahead and made like a Facebook page, and I've been keeping up with other the larger groups like Planned Parenthood and the Women's March and NARAL, and like kind of trying to coordinate stuff with them, and then also educating people I think is important, because I feel like there's just a lot of misinformation and people don't realize the full scope of what's happening. I think that's what really kind of pushed me over the edge to finally speak up, was seeing all of the crazy things that were coming about after the overturn of Roe versus Wade, and seeing how it's really a slippery slope into a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
Like a lot of other things.
And I think that was important what you hit on, like where you were talking about how the partisanship of it, like when Roe was first passed in 73, it was passed also from conservative people on the Supreme Court. It wasn't like it is today. It wasn't supposed to be like this. And it has been turned into that, unfortunately. But I mean, I know a lot of women who identify as Republican and still are pro-choice.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why they think that they can do this. You know, like the current Supreme Court that we have.
What is the statistic? Like 80% of the United States in a whole supports Roe versus Wade. It's something like that.
Right.
Yeah, I think depending on the source you look at, it's like a definite majority. It's like I've seen numbers between like 60 and 80%.
Right.
Like it's well over half.
Well, yeah, in Kansas, when they put that on the ballot and they just voted on it in the primary, they had record number of people registering to vote, and 75% of that record number was women. Like, women were pissed. Women were like, oh, hell no. And Kansas is, I don't know if you've ever been to Kansas. My family, yes. My mother's side of the family is from Kansas. And so I've been there quite a few times. It is extreme Bible Belt. I mean, you will drive every so mile you drive, there is literally a billboard up about abortion and how it's wrong and all this stuff. I mean, it is very, very conservative.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you about Indiana. It was the same way. You would drive every so often. Abortion is
probably a
America.
lot like Kansas. All those states kind of in that area are
like,
pretty similar.
That's why I feel like it's important to like stress that there's a distinction, that it's like nonpartisan, because there are people on every side of the issue that are pro-choice, and there are like religious people that are pro-choice, and there are conservative people that are pro-choice. So it's like I want to kind of make sure that I don't have real divisive rhetoric that makes it feel like I'm really like pointing fingers, because nobody tends to be receptive when you have the attitude of like blame, you pointing your finger at them. Right. It's like I feel like you have to meet people where they are and slowly introduce them to information and slowly get them to come over, like the people that are receptive to it. But you also have to, figure out, you gotta like vet who's worth your time and who's just an emotional drain of energy.
Yeah. Right.
But the ones that are receptive, that do, lean more towards those seemingly contradicting things, it's like you can usually reach them through different ways of wording. Like I think the bodily autonomy aspect is a lot more effective than trying to really be too emotional, I guess. Like, I think if you focus more on like the fact that it has to do with freedom, individual freedom, because a lot of conservatives are very much about individualism.
That's a very good way.
That's like probably the thing that you can find the common ground on, that you can start introducing other information to try to get people to understand what's going on.
Especially here. I mean, you have a brilliant idea, especially going at it with the freedom idea. I mean, because how many times do we hear from people, freedom, they stole the my body, my choice for mask wearing. I mean, they were like, my body, my choice, So it's like, yeah, if you can have the conversation at that, just like the freedom. And the thing about abortion too, the whole abortion issue is abortion is kind of like a spectrum, what people are comfortable with versus what they're not comfortable with. I mean, and there's some people who aren't comfortable with it at all. I mean, they're very extreme. They're like, not even for rape. We're seeing that happen in some states, not even for rape, not even for incest, not even for the life of the mother. And then there's people who are okay with it. You know, there's like the different weak things. I'm like, if somebody tells me that they don't want to have a baby, well, not me specifically, but if somebody says they don't want to have a baby, I think we should listen to them. I think that we should not be forcing people to bring in unwanted children onto the planet when we don't really need more people right now anyways. I mean, the planet is in trouble. So I'm probably considered extreme left wing when it comes to, I'm like, if someone says they don't want to have a baby and they want to have an abortion, it's not my choice. Yeah. It's their choice.
I think some people don't understand that you can be, like pro-life for yourself. Like if you were to become pregnant, that would just not be an option to abort, but also acknowledge that other people have different circumstances and different beliefs, and that it's not your place to impose your brand of morality onto them.
And there's things that can go wrong in a pregnancy. I mean, a lot of abortions that happen are from people who wanted their kids. They wanted the baby, but the baby doesn't.
Late-term abortions that the
right. That's like when
reference to
when like a baby dies inside of. It's like, no, that person wanted that baby, but if you leave that baby in there until the heartbeat goes away, that woman has a chance of going septic. Yeah, she will die.
There's already cases of that in some of these states.
I know, and it's mind blowing. I'm like
thinking about like as the person carrying the fetus and having to like feel it die, and you
have a dead baby in there.
Traumatic.
And you're forced to still carry it around because there's a faint heartbeat. And they have the heartbeat law. And you're like, can you imagine? I try to always put myself in somebody else's shoes. Could you imagine being a woman that, you probably had a whole baby room set up and names picked out and you were excited. And then this happens and the baby dies and you're like already devastated because of that. Yeah. And then on top of it, they're not allowed to remove the baby because the doctor could face being charged.
The mother and the doctor could be charged.
And it's like if you miscarry.
Could you imagine?
Some of these states, if you miscarry, you could be subject to like investigation to look into whether they think that you caused the miscarriage. So not only are you devastated because you had you were wanting to have a child and then you didn't, but now you're being looked at like a criminal. Right. And that's, I don't know why some people can't seem to have empathy, or a lot of people don't seem like they're capable of that until it literally happens to them.
Exactly. They don't get it until they're faced with it. Exactly. That's what. It's some not like they lack empathy, but they won't understand until it actually happens to them. They can't listen to someone else tell the struggles of their story and feel something. It's like they still don't care until it happens to them specifically, or someone that they know who they're very close with. Then they can learn that way too.
Well, I think that's because our political leaders, and this has to do with the social media aspect of it, is we've just become being so mean to each other all the time. Like the ones that the Republicans statement, like the Marjorie Taylor Greens will say, well, the Democrats support abortion up until the child is born. No.
Or they'll say once they're born, and it's like, that is murder.
I've literally I've heard like people that are forced birth or ideology reference that they are against having newborns taken out or killed out of like that's literally something they think that they just kill
like
newborn
clubbing
babies.
like clubbing a baby seal.
Yeah, like they literally think that's something that's going on, and it's because there's politicians and there's people that have done all this propaganda.
And people who have voice boxes that shouldn't, I mean, they have like a platform and they tell people this.
And I, except for a few politicians that seem to be really stupid, I don't think the politician really believes what they're saying, but they know
they're using it as a bargaining chip.
Yeah, the common denominator that they're counting on is, and this isn't insulting anybody, a lower educated person is really going to believe what they're saying.
Literally,
they can influence
most of the problems in the world. I think come down to like not very educated people.
Yeah,
because they're easy to manipulate.
Well,
it's true.
Yeah, I don't know why critical thinking isn't a subject in school, and how to be like. Just say you have a class and here's a problem and you show both sides of the problem. Okay, this is the left view. This is the right view. Okay? And usually the answer is somewhere in the middle.
Did they take out because I didn't actually go to a critical thinking class until I went to community college. And then I took critical thinking. But in grade school, we used to, I don't know if they still have this now, but do they still even have debate where you have to...
I doubt it.
Because that's kind of, that's part of like critical thinking right there, but it's like on the high school level or even grade school.
They should teach the logical fallacies and like not just as an elective, but to everyone. Because if you can examine your mode of thinking, like your own thinking, and see where you might have biases or logical fallacies, and you can pick it apart, and it helps you just cipher through information better and be better educated, because there's so much misinformation like online now and
everywhere.
Well, it sounds pompous to say this though, but most teachers lean to the left. Which means that they've had more education, and then you hate to go down that road and say like, well, conservatives are less educated. You don't really want to say that, but at the same time, teachers tend to be more empathetic people, right? And they want to give to the cause. They want to give a lot of themselves to educate kids.
Well, especially for that pay, they have to be empathetic people who want to do more for people and help out and get treated poorly. I mean, the United States treats teachers like shit. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. It's like, they've been doing it forever too. It's kind of like they think they can just, I don't know why they target that profession so much and pick on them so much.
Well, I think it's because that most educators lean to the left, so I think that's why they do it.
Probably could be.
I mean, that's not why they're going to say it, and they
frustrating that everything has to be made political like that.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah, because there are right-leaning teachers. I mean, it's like they need to quit with the stigmas. I mean, and the.
Yeah, well, I mean, like here in Arizona, they keep on going back to the voucher program where you can school choice and take money away from public education.
Even though we won that one.
Right. Like
they should not be allowed to do that. We worked our asses off.
Yeah. And that, again, that was like 70%. I think it was high. It was like 70% or something people supported not doing the vouchers.
Like, look at how many people we had to sign our petitions.
Yeah.
I had pages of it. I got all these people to sign it who are not. I mean, there was a few people who were very hesitant because they knew my views, and they're like, "I'm not signing anything that you have." And I had to sit down. I had to talk to them. I had to say, "Look, your kids are affected by this. The tax dollars that are going to go to the public schools." Yeah, I won all of them over. I got all of them.
It is possible to
sign.
change people's minds sometimes.
You know,
It is. Or they just got so annoyed with me, they're like, "Fine, I'll just sign it saying, shut the fuck up and get out of my
That's
face."
still a win.
You know,
Wear them down.
It's still a win, right? Still
Persistence.
a victory.
when I was in Indiana, I was staying at a house during the training, and there was 3 other guys, and they're all about my age. One from Florida, one from Texas, and one from Louisville.
Wow.
And
Wow.
but we would sit down, and they'd be talking politics, but they weren't extremists. They weren't like, they were kind of like,
they didn't go to 1-6.
Yeah, they weren't like, Trump probably shouldn't have done. Yeah, he shouldn't have tweeted that. He shouldn't have done that. And it was like the second or third night, and I was like, hey, I have to admit, I kind of lean to the left. And they were like, okay, yeah, we respect that. But he goes, but you have decent views. Nothing that you're saying is out of the realm of, this craziness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what we need to do is, because I think if you have these conversations, and they weren't out of whack too. Here's them on the right, here's me on the left. We were really this close.
Yeah.
We just disagreed on a few things.
Mm-hmm.
I think the politicians want people to vilify the other side to the extent that they think that everyone that has those similar views is polarized to the level that they're showing, when really most people are somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good to have more of a diplomatic approach with stuff.
Yeah. The one point is, you can even take the FBI case with them raiding Trump's house. Okay? They were against it, and he keeps on flipping. Yes, I took this. Yes, no, I declassified it. No, the FBI planned it. And that goes back to critical thinking. If that was Hillary Clinton, what would you say?
Yeah.
Also, critical thinking. If they planted it on your property, then why did you say that it was your stuff and you had the right to have it?
Yeah, and see,
that doesn't make sense.
Flip-flopping is...
I mean, do they think that their voter base is like 51st states, where you say something,
they had
you go through that experience, you wake up the next morning. Okay, I told you last night that I took the stuff. The next day, the person that watches Fox News wakes up and goes, "No, I declassified it. He declassified it." They go to sleep, they forget that, wakes up, and the next day they wake up and go, "The FBI planted it. The FBI planted it." You can't have all this, and you hate to rag on the Fox News viewers, but they fall for it. And that's the argument. You'll go on Facebook and be like, he had the right to take it.
What about the people that are close in it, like his lawyers, those 2 idiot lawyers that are now, oh yeah, we checked through the stuff and it was all stuff that, we gave everything back. It's like, now you're on the hook. What I want to know is, what's the record count now for how many lives this man has destroyed? I mean, what is the count up to now? Their careers are destroyed. I don't know if they'll be able to be lawyers again after this. Right. It's just like, and why these people are so willing to just go down for him. I'm like, he's destroying your life. Did you guys not pay attention when Michael Cohen got in trouble? Did you not pay attention to what happened to that guy?
No, it's kind of like they're lemmings, and you see them, they're running off the cliff, and they just keep on following each other. Like how do you go from Mike Pence, best vice president ever, to
hang Mike Pence?
Yeah, hang Mike Pence. And these are all pro-life people. I don't know. How did we get here from abortion issues? That's how this works. You know, we don't follow a script, and we just get in this range of thought and stuff. You know, and go back to the pro-life thing. Maybe I should wait for snow to get back before I.
It's like I hate that they have commandeered the phrase pro-life. I feel like I refuse to call them that. I call them forced birthers.
Right.
So do I. Anymore.
Because they don't care about life once it's born.
Okay.
All women are like incubators, houses for babies. Yeah. I mean, that's how they're treating women.
There's this guy, speaking of pro-life, the guy is Sky Esk. He's running for state legislature in Oklahoma. And they dug up a few years ago, he posted on Facebook that gay people are worthy of death and we should be in on the right to stone them. We would be right to stone them, is what he said. Now that would kill anybody's political career. But how do you say you're pro-life when you say stuff like that? Oh, you're pro-life, unless you're gay. Is he
saying that he's getting this from the Bible? Because then shouldn't he stone his kids whenever they talk back to him?
Yeah, he is.
I mean,
just like how
Texas
actually contemplated implementing the death penalty for women that seek abortion. And although I don't think it went through, I don't think it would go through. But the fact that that was actually a thing that was seriously talked about and in like legislation, you know, that they are even contemplating that is really disturbing.
Right. Well, and these are the same people that
very not pro-life death penalty.
Oh, yeah,
well, just the fact that they all strongly support the death penalty, yet still call themselves the pro-life party. I'm like, do you not see like the hypocrisy in saying that? If you're like all for, the only time they're for life is when it's someone that's not born yet, because they're not okay with helping. They're not okay with the WIC program. They're not okay with welfare. They're not okay with any of that. They're not okay with healthcare for all. They're not okay with all this stuff that it takes to raise a kid. So if they were going to sit there and say, look, we're forcing you, but we'll help you out. They're not doing that though.
Yeah.
They're not things that have been proven to lessen the number of abortions, and none of those include like making it illegal. Like more or less it's actual sex education and
they want to
eliminate that,
they don't support that. Do they
none
even
of the
have
stuff
sex
that
ed
actually
in school?
cuts down on abortions is anything that they're supportive of. Like the only thing they want to do is like impose their authoritarian view of like making laws to restrict abortion. And I don't think that's a good approach. Not that they actually care. I think that it's just a bargaining chip that they use because it's a way to keep the classes down and control women. And that's really the root
keeping
of
them
the
poor
issue.
and stupid.
Yeah, that's
what
it's actually about.
Snow. Although you just asked, is there still sex education in school? Apparently there is, because the news channel you were listening to believes that they're teaching sodomy in first grade, right?
No, to 5-year-olds. So that would be kindergarten.
So kindergartners are being
this radio host, I'm not going to say his name because I really don't want to give him credit, but he claims
go after him.
Then
he'll go after us.
He claims that they are teaching sodomy to 5-year-olds. Because he made this statement, he goes, even if you consider yourself a liberal, even if you get, I'm doing my best impression of him. Even if you consider yourself a liberal, I would like to think that you at least would be against teaching sodomy to 5-year-olds. And his slogan for his show is, the reason why his show is better than any other show or podcast out there is because it is based in rational thought. And I'm like,
What?
so you serious? How is you thinking 5-year-olds are being taught sodomy in kindergarten? How is that rational thought?
That seems
There's
like
no way
some-
that a rational person would think that.
like a slippery slope fallacy or something.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
He's
took
got
some-
something with
something and just
He-
like took it to the farthest end, polarized thing that he could think of.
he's got a
To
real
rile
thing with
people up.
like butts and sticking things, stuff about that, because every show he makes the comment either about the sodomy being taught to 5-year-olds or he makes some reference about like that's like giving me a rectal exam or something, and I'm just like, what is with you? What is with you?
Projecting.
And the whole
What would Freud
exactly.
say?
I'm like, and the only thing I can think of is he's got to be projecting, like when they sit there and like label other people as groomers, and it's like, okay, is this a classic case of projection? Like, I don't know what to believe from you guys anymore because you guys are so batshit, like I don't know what to think.
Right, like back with that bit Eddie Murphy did years ago where he was talking about homophobics, and he was like, yeah, I hate you. And he's doing the impression of hitting you. He goes, I hate you, and your skin is so soft.
Right, because it's like, it's somebody that has to talk about it nonstop. That you're just like, why are you so obsessed with that?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with you, bud?
Yeah, and how come the you always find, and I hate to say it's always a certain side and someone who is anti, is the anti-gay, homophobic, but they're the ones that are caught in the restroom, doing some act.
I know. Yeah, caught in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I forget if that person was a representative or a senator, but I remember when that.
I think it was a representative.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, here in Arizona, we have our Carrie Lake won the primary. She won, right? Did she officially won?
Yes, she did.
But it was a rigged election, but she won.
Did you like how she was losing at first? She was losing at first because it was when the numbers first started coming in. So the election was not over. So she claimed that they're cheating. And then when she started winning, all of a sudden they're no longer cheating. And they're no longer trying to push her out. It's like...
That's the secret. You could just, change the narrative at will.
Well, again...
people will fall for it somehow.
You're like, ain't that some shit?
It's a 51st
Funny how
date
that
story.
works.
You wake up the next day and like, no, hey, we won fair and square. Even though the night before they were cheating.
Squirrel brain.
It's crazy. You're just like, what?
I know. Do people that just, that attention deficit syndrome that's just like, hey, squirrel? And
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Something. I think the instant gratification culture that we have now doesn't help.
So we'll
I know.
It's kind of like bred
we'll go into this part.
They can get everything they want.
That
like really
short
quick.
attention span stuff.
Yeah. Well, and that's how, like social media, it will pick up on what articles you read, and it will just feed you more of those articles. So if you're leaning to more of the conspiracy theories, that's going to be in the news feed. And it's just going to keep on going in this cycle.
And it's presented as news. I mean, they're scrolling through and they're reading article. They're thinking, that's another reason why I don't want to be on there. I'm just like, I don't like what they should at least have to put on there. This is someone's opinion at the top, unless they're actually telling what actual news is.
Yeah.
If they want to do a news, then it's going to be really boring. I hate to say it, but that's how news is. News, they just tell you the news. I mean, they don't...
It sucks that with, like, the freedom of, not having censorship, also, like, personal responsibility should go hand in hand. And, like, ability of people to
I think
discern between their... what's true and not, but that kind of goes out the window.
Well, it's kind of like we live in the Matrix.
Like,
And because you're just living in different realities, and the reality is whatever's being programmed into your head at the time. Like Carrie Lake said, if she wins, she's going to declare an invasion at the southern border, which means
what the hell?
the state of Arizona can use the National Guard militarily against people coming over the border.
So does that mean that she's also going to finally go after the businesses who hire illegal?
She said
labor?
that. She said that. She was like, yeah, more people are coming over here and they're driving wages down for the normal American workers. Well, then go after those businesses that are hiring these
go
workers.
after the people who are hiring now, because you can hire people to come on work visas. Let's point that out, because
a lot of people get here legally on a green card or a visa or whatever, and then they just like once it expires, they just don't go back. So they're like already physically here. It's not like they're like
most
sneaking
people
over.
come in on planes. Most people that come here and stay past their time fly in on a plane. They're not doing the
climbing over.
I know. That's why I don't
wall.
understand their logic.
Well, it's also like...
I'm like, go after the businesses that are doing the hiring.
Yeah.
You need to do that.
Yeah. But also, you hear the statistic like, well, they've apprehended over 2 million people crossing the border illegally. Now, the secret of that is we apprehended 2 million people. Mm-hmm. But they say Biden has an open door policy. So if it's an open door policy, why did we apprehend 2 million people? Why can't people just look at the logic
He's already
of that?
apprehended more than the entire Trump administration. The entire years of Trump being in office.
Now, that could be because there's more people coming over illegal. So. I
guess it could be, but
still. Don't you think if you put out the message, like if but somebody's listening to, what's fuckfacing Greg Abbott? Texas.
Oh, Texas, yeah.
Yeah. So if he's putting out the message, oh, it's an open door policy, you can just come over here, no one's stopping you. Don't you think if you're like in Central America and you're picking up the news or you're looking at Facebook and, hey, look, they said just come on over, it's an open door policy. Don't you think that helps feed the people coming up?
I also have a solution to Greg Abbott's thing. So he's been shipping people who are coming over, he ships them to New York and D.C., right?
Yeah.
Or he quit shipping them to D.C., now they're going to New York.
Right.
So why don't we ship all the unwanted babies that are forced to be... Why don't we ship all them to Texas on buses?
Snow.
Why don't... I am a person about solutions. I'm like, okay, well then how can we fix this problem? You want to force, and your state more than any, your state is one of the top ones that is very anti-woman and blah, 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 and you don't want them getting abortions. So you can have all the babies then. You get all the crying babies, we'll ship them there nice and safe, and you can have them.
And you make Greg Abbott go pick them up, and he's forced to sit and coach with a plane full of crying babies.
Yeah, let him. Let him see how you like that, smarty pants.
How easy it is to just raise a baby. Like,
we have to do more fire with these people. Like, remember my idea about their stupid... They have that law in Texas where anyone can sue anyone who aids in a woman going and getting an abortion, blah, blah, blah. Then I came up with, then why can't any woman sue a man for $10,000 if she said, yeah, sure, I'll have sex with you, but did not agree for the deposit to be put in her bank? If you know what I'm saying, because it seems like there's a lot of adults out there that are forgetting how babies are actually made. So there's a lot of people who need to go to sex ed classes.
Another
but I'm
aspect that is basically
right. Did she say, get me pregnant? Yeah. Did she say, get me pregnant? No, she didn't. So how about she can sue the man for $10,000 for getting her pregnant?
This is where voter.
I mean, what the fuck?
This is where
We need to come back with stuff like this back towards these people to be like, you see how ridiculous it is? Are you understanding it now?
The thing is, they don't care because they hold the cards on their deck, and so they basically just get to be able to not care. But that is sort of like an example of a reason why it's just about controlling women, because if it was actually about babies, then the other end of the equation would be held accountable too, and that's not part of the of the discussion. So it's only ever like shaming women, like, oh, they should keep their legs closed, but nobody ever says, oh, he should keep his dick in his
Where did
pants.
that sperm come from?
So
she can't get herself pregnant.
But as far as like if they'd actually make equivalent things to like that, and they won't. 'Cause
it just
it's
cracks
a bunch
me
of
up.
Old fucked up.
Right, it cracks me up.
Misogynistic men that are in the government. So
this is what they're doing. It's
even.
men getting mad at women because they can't control their own dicks. That's what it is. I'm like, how are you mad at the woman? You had the option to not. I'm gonna get graphic here, but you had the option to not shoot your load in there. I'm sorry. I know it sounds bad, but that's how men talk, and maybe they can understand it better that way. I don't know.
Well, I think we're making a good case for voter ID, though, because, voter ID, you have to have on your ID which party you affiliate with, right? So before a woman has sex, she can decide, oh, you're on that side? I'm not sleeping with you, because you
might not know how to work things. You might not know. I mean, I'm just saying, women should... I think women should say more stuff like that. I mean, I'm a woman that says stuff like that. I'm like, I'm tired of listening to all the blame. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of them listening when it's like, you guys are actually the ones that can control if women actually get pregnant. I don't know if you know that. Unless there's an issue where like of infertility.
Just don't care. They
right.
don't care.
Well,
I know, but
they
it's
don't
like
have to take accountability if they just don't care.
And if
that's why I want women to care more. I want women to just. I know so many women that are just. They will do whatever their husbands say, and you can tell that that's not really how they want to live their life, but they've felt that way probably their entire life, that they have to do that, and I'm like, no, you don't. What makes him so much greater?
It's definitely like something that's conditioned into.
Yeah.
Well,
people.
I mean, we know somebody that was a case like that. This certain person that I got in trouble with, that she was in a relationship previous to me where he was way over there, on the other side, and she just went along with it till one day. I think by listening to this podcast, she felt like she had, she could use her voice to, stand up for what
change people's minds sometimes.
I want more women to do that. I mean, that's...
It's not necessarily...
Women can do whatever they want. Whatever they put their mind to, they can do it too. They're just as strong. I mean...
Well, it's not necessarily we changed her mind. It was more the fact where she felt like she could speak her mind.
Yeah. I think that's important. I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I stopped being afraid to speak up. Because, like, even if you speak up in a room full of people that disagree with you, there might be someone in there that's listening that, feels, like, empowered to also stand up because they hear you talk,
How nerve-wracking was that to get up in front of that Board of Supervisors meeting?
I felt like I was going to throw up and pass out when I was walking back. But
you did a great job, though.
I did it, and I didn't really intend on speaking at first, or I was unsure. 'Cause initially, I went there to support someone else. I went there to support Willow, and she's really great in doing all the activism stuff, and she had a speech planned out and everything. And I always feel like there's this one aspect of the subject that I don't usually hear a lot of people speak on. And so I asked her if she had that in her speech, and she said no. And so I basically just decided then on the spot that I was going to go up.
I will put my name on that list.
Yeah, it
Good
was
for
like
you.
Right,
5 minutes before the thing started.
And can you tell us?
Good for you.
Can you tell us what that was? Because that was brilliant, and that made me think. Wow, I didn't think about that aspect of it.
I focus mainly on the bodily autonomy aspect, and there's actually a trial that happened called McFall versus Shimp in, I think it was the 70s or something, that was in regards to whether someone has to be forced to donate organs to save another person, and it was dictated by that you can't be forced to donate your organs. So basically, even if you die and you're not an organ donor, but you have viable organs, they legally cannot harvest your organs, even if it means that someone else's life will end. So I brought that up because I felt like it was important to focus on the legal aspect, and then also the fact that the board of supervisors people in particular, like when the pandemic was going on, they really made a big case to reference bodily autonomy when they were against the mask mandates. So I
where it would help someone else.
I wanted to them to try to draw the conclusion of using the same thought process when it comes to like standing up for women's bodily autonomy, because there's nothing more invasive than having to grow a fetus inside your body, or grow something and birth it, and pregnancy is something that still kills a lot of women even in developed countries. So I can't think of anything more along the lines of bodily autonomy than that.
Even in the United States,
their mask
we
argument.
have a bad record of that, of bad
even
statistics on. Yeah, we're like a developed nation, and we have horrible.
Like we're actually pretty bad as far as developed countries.
Of women who die in childbirth. Yeah.
So those rates are going to go up now because of this whole thing. Like one of the things that ectopic pregnancy is a debate in some of these states, whether like the way the wording is in some of the restrictive bills that the states have passed, they make it really vague and ambiguous, probably because the people that made these laws don't actually know shit about pregnancy or biology or anything.
Nothing to do with
so
science,
they leave it
right?
ambiguous, and so people that have things like ectopic pregnancies where like the egg implants in somewhere it's not supposed to be, like usually in the fallopian tubes.
Yeah.
And it starts growing, and
Marilyn Monroe had like 2 of those pregnancies. That's why she never had kids.
The treatment for that is like debatably considered an abortion, like because they remove that. They have to remove it or else it will grow and kill the woman.
Yeah.
So that now it, with all this, it's causing delayed treatments, and doctors having to basically present their case to justify treatment, so people get further along and get more health problems because of it, or just like all the legalities around it. The doctors are scared to be prosecuted if they perform the procedure. That, and then something I was reading about that I didn't know much about. It's called a DNC, and it's when someone has a miscarriage, and sometimes, like, it sounds graphic, but sometimes the body doesn't naturally expel all of the contents of the miscarriage, so the doctor has to go in and take out the rest, like manually scrape it out. And since some of the wording around these laws is like inhibiting that, and so if you leave, festering bodily tissue in someone, it can turn septic. Yeah. So that's also another aspect of this whole thing that I don't think a lot of people realize that's life-threatening. Like, it's not cut and dry. Not everyone's pregnancies just go smoothly. And I even know women that were initially intending on having more children, and now they're thinking against it because they've had like difficult pregnancies in the past that required different things, or they've had miscarriages, just like the whole list of the stuff that's in this weird gray area they've had in the past. And so now they're very reluctant to even get pregnant and have more children. So now there's people that were intending to have more that are choosing not to because of this, and they're having to kind of like battle emotionally with that decision. And that's another aspect that I don't think a lot of people think about. It's not just women, or it's not just people that want to have children or that don't want to have children, but people that were wanting to. And yeah, I don't know, there's just so many different things.
Yeah. So what's your Facebook group that you started?
It's called Kingman Area Reproductive Freedom Alliance.
Okay, and you can find this. You can find this publicly.
Yes. It's a private group, so you have to, answer the questions and requests. But I just this morning switched it over from hidden to visible, so now people can go.
Oh, cool! Just in time for the show.
Yeah,
Hey.
I finally got everything sorted out. I was like, I need to make security questions and stuff and try to weed out trolls.
Right?
And you would have to approve any comments and
Yeah, I
did
did set that up. It's just to weed out trolls too, because I don't know,
You might
trust
get those around
issues
here.
with people.
Yeah, definitely. Well, see, look, we went all over the road here in this conversation, but this is the brilliance of me and Snow, is that we're able to wrap it up and bring it full circle back to where we started.
Yay!
I guess we have to talk about Dennis Rodman then. But,
Is that where we started?
but now we have to worry about monkeypox. Yeah, we survived COVID.
I mean, I'll be happy to get the vaccine as soon as they have more available.
It sounds like
I'm a person that likes vaccines.
It's harder to get than COVID. Like, you have to actually make contact with a sore. I think, like an open sore. I think that's what.
Well,
I could be wrong.
It is transmitted through touch, but they've been finding out, like, somebody got it recently that was at like an outside event, and they got it. But I mean, it's not as contagious as where it's droplets through the air. Right.
Yeah.
It's not like that. It's more
like somebody scratched their scab and then touched something, and then someone else touched the thing they touched. Or
yeah.
maybe.
I think it's more along the lines of herpes, kind of like where it's because herpes is like touch, or HPV is touch. I think like
an STD.
Those kind. Well, it doesn't only they were saying at first that it mostly affects men who have sex with men. Like, that's what they keep saying when they talk about monkeypox, but they've been finding out that it affects other people too.
Or like chicken pox. I think is that through touch? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
been a long
Yeah, I
time
think
since
so.
I've had
Well,
chicken pox.
Chickenpox is a form of herpes. There's yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had shingles once in my ear, and I went, and the doctor's like, "Oh yes, you have herpes." You know, he had an accent, so I was
You're
like, I turned to him like this,
What
like I was 19 at the time, and I go,
stuff
I
have
go-
you been doing?
I don't got no herpes like that. You know, I was like all like pissed off, and he goes, no. There are 4 different types of herpes. He goes, have you ever had chickenpox? And I'm like, yes, when I was a kid. He's like, then you have had herpes. You know, he's like, chickenpox is herpes, shingles is herpes. He's like, and then
Like
there is
cold
the kind that
sores
you
on
were
your
talking
mouth.
about.
Yeah.
He's like, he wouldn't even say it. You know, he wouldn't even say it. But he's like, then there is that kind of herpes. But yeah. Yeah, but that's how I
You
learned
should
about
probably
it.
know better than to say it, word it that way, dude.
So almost everybody has herpes,
I
technically, because they've all had chickenpox, you know?
I just think it's Mother Nature just wanting to shake all the fleas off.
We're a
you know?
cancer, and
We're-
it's trying to
yes,
eliminate
yes.
us.
Yeah, but we.
That explains all the storms right now, too.
Right.
She's like, get the hell off of me.
Right, that was a crazy storm the other night. I'd never seen anything like that in my life.
I think I saw some lightning when I was driving over here that was doing that again. What's it called? Like vector lightning or something?
Yeah, it's like, buckle up.
Vecna.
Buckle up. We'll
Vecna.
be experiencing more of that as the years. I mean, it's
Oh, well.
it's like that the planet is not in great shape. I mean,
We're all doomed.
and it's like our fault, pretty much. I
It'd
mean,
be nice if it would rain so we could get out of the drought, but I don't think it. I think
be nice if
it would
it
take
flooded.
a lot more.
Like, where's
would have
Noah
to
when you need him?
Consistently for years and years.
Like at Lake Mead. Like, where's Noah when you need him? Like today.
Oh, God.
For our Bible friends out there, you know, we need another flood at Lake Mead. You know, not necessarily here, but we need help there. Lake Mead and Lake Powell, they're both bad right
I know,
now.
it's sad.
Bad shape.
Hey, and at least I got picked up at the airport by my conservative roommate, and we were talking about Lake Mead, and he finally said, yes, the water situation needs to be addressed. And he was talking
They're
about
finally talking.
he was
about
talking
that
about
now.
he was talking about climate change. I'm like going, all right,
What?
you're coming around.
Just get on board a little bit
See,
for stuff
because
like that.
they don't believe it till they literally see it and
Yep.
experience it themselves.
When the water goes away, what's going to happen to all of us?
It's like,
Be like the apocalypse. All right, well,
it's
Kat,
like
thank
we'll have to
you.
move.
Thank you for coming on, Kat.
Yes, thank you, Kat. It was
Thanks
fun.
for having me.
And we'll have
Glad
you
I
on again.
didn't freak out and pass out.
Oh yeah, you can, and you can
And
come
the,
back again. You can come back again and
And
not
you-
pass out.
And you didn't start tripping from the bad gummy bears?
Oh, I don't feel it yet. I ate some apparently gummy bears that were past their Best Buy date, so now we wait.
I'm sure you'll be fine, especially if it was just April. I think I was watching something on the fact that expiration dates, you can still, depending on what it is, you can go
like
past
a
it a
use
little
by
bit.
date and a Best Buy date are different. At
What?
least.
Right.
What is in a gummy bear that would go bad, though?
Gelatin? I don't know.
Would that go bad?
Does it?
I don't know.
I think it'd be like Twinkies. I mean, they get hard. That's all.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I was gonna mention that the things I'm working on with the group right now is I'm working on partnering with a national group called NARAL.
And what does that stand for?
I looked it up, and apparently their acronym has changed several times, and I don't honestly remember. remember what it currently stands for.
I was because I had
But
never
they-
heard of them, and
Yeah.
I'm sure some of our listeners haven't.
They do activism for like women's rights and abortion, and but I talked with the state representative for them, and she was saying that they want to get like representatives for each of the counties and branch out that way, and they don't have someone for Mojave County yet, so I'm looking into
Is it going to be
partnering
you?
with them. Yeah, I'm looking into like making
Cool.
our group kind of under them, and I'm also looking into coordinating with the Women's March. The group is literally called Women's March, and they do a lot of like the rallies and stuff. And
I've been to a couple of them.
They're planning a nationwide one October 8th and 9th, which is a Saturday and Sunday. And I'm looking into like coordinating with them because I want to have one here, and I want to do it like somewhere real visible, like Stockton Hill Road. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just to get people, like riled up again and thinking about like, voting for politicians that are
That have your
align
back.
with our interests. And
Well, look at what
Right,
happened in Kansas. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, we'll have to have you come back on again before that to
yeah,
speak about it and get everybody energized and whatnot to
Yeah.
come out.
I'm
Yeah.
just excited. So that's what I've been trying to coordinate.
Cool.
Yay!
Cool. Yeah.
well, you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's not easy, and it's like a learning process, but just
There's a lot of other people aside from just me too. Like, I don't know. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah, there'll be people
I
to
might
help.
not know the answer to something, but I feel like I know enough other people that have like resources and education that I can like reference to figure out how to get stuff done.
Yeah, it's all
And
about
Willow's
networking.
a good ally. to
Yeah.
have. Like she can probably help you out a lot. She's good.
Yeah.
She's good at
like
organizing
it's-
stuff.
All a group effort.
Mhm.
It's all appreciated.
Yeah.
Okay, well, on that note, we're going to wrap this one up.
Alrighty.
It's good to be back in the studio again,
Right.
despite the technical difficulties. But anyway, Kat, we will talk again soon. And Snow, we will talk again soon. We'll probably do a quick one from the Killers. We'll do a remote from the Killers show.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
right. Friday night, right?
Yep.
Friday night. Okay.
Yay.
All right. And I need to go back for Phoenix.
Yeah.
Back for a few days, and I'm off again. Okay, so on that note, we'll wrap this up, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.